Today I am discussing about the different types of solar collector. Solar collectors are broadly classified into the following types. One is the non-concentrating type or flat plate type solar collector, and another is the concentrating type or focusing type solar collector. Now I am discussing about non-concentrating type or flat plate type solar collector. In case of flat plate collectors, the area absorbing solar radiation is the same as the area of intercepting solar radiations. Flat plate collectors are used for applications requiring energy delivery at the moderate temperature, that means the temperature below 100 degrees centigrade. They have the advantages of using beam and diffused radiations, not requiring orientation towards the sun and requiring little maintenance. Now, the construction. So, this is the case, and these holes are the fluid tubes by which the collector fluids are passing, and this layer is the absorbing surface, and these are the heat insulation. And here different types of radiations, that is direct solar radiation, these are the diffused solar radiation, and these layers are transparent covers. Now the half section view of radiation of the collector is that. So these are the insulation region which is used as heat insulation, and these are the absorbing plates, that is the enclosure flow. These tubes are enclosure flow tubes, and this is the inlet terminals, and this is the outlet terminals. Now different part of this type of collectors are: first, absorber plates. It intercepts and absorbs solar radiation. This plate is usually metallic plate, either copper or aluminium or steel, although plastics have been used in some low temperature applications. But for high temperature metal is the preferable materials. In most cases, it is coated with a material to enhance the absorption of solar radiation. The coating may also be used to minimize the amount of infrared radiation emission. The sunlight passing through the glazing and strikes the absorber plates, which heats up and changing solar energy to the heat energy. This heat is transferred to the fluid passing through the tube or pipe attached to the absorber plate. In air-based collector, the circulating fluid is air, whereas in case of liquid-based collector, it is usually the water. Now, the absorber plates are commonly painted with several coatings which absorbs the heat better than the ordinary black paint. So this is the special type of color paintings are used. Now the absorber plates are usually made of metal, that is copper or aluminium, because metal is a good heat conducting medium. Copper is more expensive, but it is better conductor than the aluminium. Now the flat plate collectors, heat is circulating fluid to the temperature considerably less than that of the boiling point of the water, and the best suited to the applications where the dimmed temperature is 30 degree to 70 degree centigrade, for the applications that require the heat during which winter month. Some selective coating materials are black chrome, black nickels, black coppers, silver foil, etc. Now the transparent cover. These are one of the most sheet of solar radiation transmitting the mat- materials and the placed above the absorber plates. They allow solar energy to reach the absorber plate while reducing convection, conduction, and radiation heat losses. Now the insulators. The side and bottom of the collectors are usually insulated to minimize the heat loss. Glass fiber, rock wools, foam are generally used as the insulating medium. Next one, the box like structures. It contains the above components and keep them in proper position. Now, the advantages of flat plate collector. First advantage, both beam and diffuse radiations are used. So the utilization of heat is better in this type of collector. Next point, require little maintenance. No maintenance are required because all the components are enclosed in a common box, and this is the compact system. And this type of collector is mechanically simple, not the complicated design. Next, the orientation of the sun is not required because this is the flat plate collector. All position of the sunlights are tracking by this device. Now the disadvantages of flat plate collectors. Low temperature is achieved. Next disadvantage, heavy in weight. Next disadvantage, large heat loss by conducting due to the large area. The area of the flat plate collector is very large, so heat loss is required in this type of collector. Now the application of flat plate collector. Used in solar water heater, used in solar heating and solar cooling system, used low temperature power generation, and used drying crops. So these are the application area of the flat plate collector. So flat plate collector is used in case of domestic purpose generally, and as well as the industrial and commercial purpose, because it by the help of in domestic purpose the flat plate collector is used for the water heating and cooling system, and in case of industrial purpose this is used for drying crops, etc. Now concentrating or focusing collectors. A solar collector that uses reflective surfaces to concentrate sunlight into a small area where it is absorbed and converted to heat, or in case of solar photovoltaic devices is to electricity. Concentrator can be increase the power flux of sunlight in time. Such collectors can deliver energy at high temperature compared to the flat plate collector. For that reason, this type of collector is used for steam production for the generation of electricity. Concentrating collectors the best fitted to climate that have the high percentage of clear sky day. So in this collector, a reflecting surface between the solar radiations and the absorber. The mirrored surface focuses the sunlight collected over a large area into a small absorber area to achieve high temperature. Some designs concentrate to solar energy into the focusing point, while the other concentrate the sun rays along a thin line called the focal lines. The receiver is located at the focusing point or along with the focal lines. A heat transfer fluid flows through the reservoir and absorbs the heat. Fluid can be heated temperature up to 500 degrees centigrade or more. Orientation of sun from earth changes from time to time. So to collect maximum solar rays, it is necessary to keep the collector facing to sun rays directions. This is the reason why orientation is concentrating collector is necessary. This is achieved by the use of tracking devices. However, concentrator can only focus direct solar radiations that performs the poor and hazy of cloudy days. Concentrators are more preferred for the area where the high insolations are present. Now, the advantages of concentrating collectors. High concentration ratio is the first advantage, and which is the disadvantages of flat plate collector. Next advantage, high fluid temperature can be achieved because the area of the collection area is not larger than the flat plate collectors. Next, less thermal heat loss. This is also the advantage of this type of collecting system. Next, system efficiency increases at high temperature because here the heat losses are minimum, so the efficiency is maximum. Inexpensive process, so this process is not expensive. Now the disadvantage of this type of collectors: non-uniform flux on absorber. Next disadvantage, collect only beam radiation, and these are the disadvantages because in case of flat plate collector, that is this type of collector collects the beam and diffused radiation both. Next, need costly tracking device. So another disadvantage of this type of collector is that in case of focusing collector, a tracking devices must be required, but in case of flat plate collector, no tracking devices are required. And due to the tracking mechanism, the initial cost of this type of collector is very high compared to the flat plate collectors. Now, different types of concentrating collectors. First one is the parabolic collector, and this collector is called parabolic through collectors. So in this collector there are different components, that is, this is the central heat pipe, that is the fluid outlet, this is the fluid inlet, and these are the collector support. By the help of the support, the tracking system is installed, and this is the reflecting coating mirror, and rotational axis is like this. So this axis is the clockwise axis, and this is the position of the sun, and this is the sun rays. So these are the block diagram of the collectors. Now the cross section of parabolic through collectors. So this is the cross section view of parabolic through collector. So this is the focusing point, and this is the sun ray, and these are the design of the collector. Now these collectors long through form into the parabolic shape that focus the sunlight into the receiver tube, that is the positioned along with the focal line of the earth through this. So this system can also be used to produce steam to the power a turbine to generate the electricity. In this collector, the solar radiation coming from the perpendicular direction to the collector over the area of the reflecting surface and is concentrated at the focus of the parabola. If the reflector is in the form of through a parabolic cross section, the solar radiation is focused along a line. Mostly cylindrical parabolic concentrators are used in which the absorber is placed along the focus axis. Now these are the parabolic dish collectors. In these collectors, all the radiations from the sun are focused at a point. The collector can generate temperature up to 300 degrees centigrade. Its diameters of range between the 6 to 7 meter and can be commonly manufactured. So this is the base, and this is the sun rays, and this is the receiver sections, and the section is, and the total collecting surface is just like the parabola. So this is called the parabolic type. Now these are the mirror strip collectors. A mirror strip collector has number of planes or slightly curved, or the mirror strips which are mounted on the base. The individual mirrors are placed at such an angle that are reflected the solar radiations fall on the same focal line where the pipe is placed. In this system, collector pipe is rolled so that the reflector's rays on the absorber remains focused with respect to the change in sun's elevation. And these are the lens type collectors. So in these collectors, the linear groups are present on the side of the flat surfaces on the other side of the solar radiations, which falls normal of the lens and reflected by the lens and the focused on the absorber or tube. Both glasses and plastic can be used for the reflecting materials. So these are the these are the lens, and this is the solar radiation, and this point is the absorber point.